like I say, some people were doing these attacks. It turned out to be my American military, but realistically, Marines. But realistically, it was basically just JFK, Nixon, a ragtag pirate crew, basically, pretty much. They were young 15-year-old and 12-year-old kids running subs. They didn't know really anything about the subs, and they believed that the subs could only go down to about 100 or 400 feet, which was safe for children, basically. Safe for gun-wielding pirate children. Yes. The Japanese, the Chinese, the Germans who built the submarines all knew that the submarines could go down to about 1,500 or 3,000 feet. 6,000 feet at the max for the newer subs, basically, I believe. Anyway, we were working on how to get them deeper, but about 1,500 feet what was the most. So I just I had them print the manual saying that they could only go down to about 400 feet. For young people, basically. Safety margin, because they were all my submarines and all my subs and all my fuel tankers and everything. And basically, safety factor. And mostly they were 12-year-old and 14-year-old kids, it turns out, that were doing pirate activity around in those areas. Those areas where they say they did the patrols, those were pirate areas, basically. If you go back and look, you'll notice the pirate problem. And basically what it was the Republicans were stealing oil, stealing this, stealing that, stealing everything, and then basically hauling it back to what is the United States, the Yankee United States, and basically selling it and going, we're so rich, trying to get people's approval. Anyway, from Germany and meanwhile, Filipinos and blacks were basically attacking my Germany. And attacking and basically trying to do this mob rule kind of thing where they would push in, basically. Anyway, I repulsed their attack. I moved everybody to what is America. My German generals basically hunted down the Yankees, the same people that you see on TV now going, oh well, we did this, we did that for our American country, and we those people were the people that were basically sneaking on shore, and they would rape like 20 or 30 women, and then they would run like little piece of shits back to their submarines, and they would take off. It was basically Nixon, Jimmy Carter, John McCain, some of those people from Palestine. And they would basically take the spoils from the ships that they were pirating, and they'd pretty much go and sell them. And basically, I was hunting them because they were using my ships and everything else like that. Like for instance, we made sure that their torpedoes were duds. We made sure that their guns wouldn't fire. We basically curbed their psychotic killing tendencies to where they would only just basically use knives, pretty much. And what they would do is, like I say, they'd go, hoo, 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 and they'd put their arms down. And these are white guys, white muscular guys that go, hoo, 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 and they'd put their arms down, and they would, like the thing, knuckle draggers. And they would, what they would do is they would kind of creep into a town, and there'd be like lines of them, like 5 or 6 deep. And then they would just rush the women, and they would just grab them and just start raping them. Just like going down on them, fucking them really hard, just start raping. And there would be like 30,000 of them behind them, and it was basically to terrorize and to cause fear so the towns would give up. It didn't, and I had snipers in the rooftops, and they shot these people, and line after line of them. I would pay for snipers, and there'd be snipers in the rooftops, and they'd wait for them to come into towns, and they'd be going, coming in, and then suddenly. Just like shot to the head. They would get within 100 feet or 30 feet of a woman, just rushing her, and right in the head. And I paid for that. We shot a lot of rapists. Anyway, they did it for about... Then they just started like rampaging, just like bombing towns, and they started doing this and they started doing that, all to cause fear and intimidation. And basically, we shot them dead. And then I carpet bombed the shit out of them. There was no fear. There was no intimidation. There was only anger. And after I hunted them on land, we hunted them in the sea. Like I said, I had been testing and inventing the depth charges, so I knew everything that there was, and so did Germany, and so did China, and so did America. The real government knew what was, I even sacrificed like 2 or 3 subs just trying to find out what depths. We took it into shallow water and we put it down there, and then we dropped depth charges on it until the hull crushed. So we found out exactly what kind of depth charges to use, and we were doing testing and stuff like that, with the depth charges. And we were also trying to find the subs in the water, just because it was just a theoretical experiment. Really, we didn't really need it. There wasn't really a problem back then. So when the problem did start up, I was just like, there'd be like my oil tankers, and then like my oil tankers were flanked on either side by ships. So White Star Alliance really didn't even notice it, and if anything, I curbed the other pirate problem, because I was like blah blah, and I told the Germans, and the Germans told the Japanese and Chinese, and we worked as a team, the rest of the world, against these people that were basically a small splinter group that were pirates, the Yankee pirates, they would call themselves. Nowadays they call themselves heroes and this and that, and basically like they did some great thing for America or something, but they didn't. They were pocketing the money. They were keeping it. They were living their lavish, rich lifestyle, and basically they were just shit on wheels, because it was my oil pumps that they were pumping the oil, and it was my oil that other people were getting, and it was my oil that they were stealing, because all the ships were mine, so they were just stealing like a third of whatever I had and putting it into their own pockets, basically. And White Star, and White Star Lines really wasn't really even affected that much, because like I said, I had carriers on either side. I had subs flanking my ships, and it wasn't until they sunk the Titanic that I was like, all right, that's enough. And I started going after them. I sent all of Germany after them. And I sent all of China and Japan and Korea after them. And they were hunted across the earth and eventually found. And then the problem stopped, mostly. So these people, which now call themselves in the military and in the Marines and all that other stuff, they're what's left of basically the people. We hunted them, we killed them, they turned around and shot their own crews. They would drop Cyclone D canisters inside their own subs and close the hatch, and basically kill their own crew inside their own subs, so their own people wouldn't rat them out, basically. And basically they're the shit on wheels that now call themselves heroes of America. No, you weren't. You were just the pirate scum rapists that were helping the wrong side. And I hunted you down with pride and distinction. So did my people. Real military. The people that were actually running the concentration camps and running the Germany stuff and doing the right thing out there, we hunted you down. Yeah, that was us. And we killed you and your subs. And I'm proud of it. And you're just Nixon shit, basically. And have no pride and no distinction. And basically force the Japanese and the Chinese and the Germans to sign confessions. And the Russians. And we know. And you're punished. You will be punished. Anyway, the world nor I was particularly pleased with their actions. And when the full magnitude of their actions came out, we were even less pleased. Anyway, they blamed me at first, but it wasn't me. So, anyway, yeah, it's just shit balls, basically. Piles of shit with legs and mouths. And the world really hunted them down more than... I hunted them down first, and then they blamed me, and blah, blah, blah. And then it came out, everything that they were doing, how they were stealing oil tankers, how they were killing crews, how they were raping the crews on the ships. They said it was the Japanese, it was the Chinese, it was this. Well, it was Filipino, black, and also Yankees, basically, together. Pretty much the Nixon crew. And Germany came down on them like a ton of bricks and basically squashed them. And they went, who's doing this? It's like Lucifer White Star Line, you stupid motherfucker. And me. And, I invented the subs. We built the subs. They just stole the subs. And then they tried to lie about it.